We have safely arrived to a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Good to be with you. It's the 5th day of March, 2026. Going to be another mild one today. Things are going to be pretty quiet. Mother Nature is going to give us some fairly benign weather for the most part until we get to the end of the weekend. Starting Sunday night into Monday, things are going to get really crazy. We're talking about maybe a little bit of snow down here, heavy snow in the mountain passes. They need it. Snowpack is nothing. You need to get on that. Actually, not a lot of weather to talk about, all things considered, except the temperatures will be warmer than normal still. This pattern has been going on since October, really, with very few exceptions. Forecast details are coming up. A lot of news, because we always seem to have a lot of news. That's just part and parcel, I guess. In sports, there are 5 local basketball teams who have a chance to take home some hardware before the weekend is over in their respective boys and girls state basketball tournaments. We'll get you know who beat whom and how, and who plays today. We'll have that. The Kraken's 5-game home winning streak came to an end, by the way. Highlights of St. Louis beating the Kraken. The Mariners have not been playing very good in Cactus League baseball, but there's a reason for that. Most of the players that we're familiar with for the Seattle Mariners, number one, really aren't playing too much. They don't want them to get hurt before the season begins. And number two, a lot of them are playing for their respective countries in the World Baseball Classic. So the Mariners are all the big stars that we're used to. Really just haven't seen a great deal of action so far in Cactus League baseball, but that's cool. I think it's a long season. And in the back half of the program, our own Jenni Rodas had a chance to sit down with Ryan Rodruck. Ryan Rodruck is with the Department of Natural Resources. As you know, it's been an unseasonably warm winter. We haven't had nearly the snow that we're used to. The snowpack right now is at 52%. That's the 3rd lowest on record since they started measuring snowpacks in the Cascades. And what does that mean for us come spring and summer? When wildfire season kicks in, we'll hear from Ryan. He's got some good advice in the back half of the program. And it's Thursday. Pause for Pets. Gully the cat needs a permanent home. Let's see if we can get that taken care of. 2 minutes after the hour. The sun has been up for just about a half an hour. Here we go. Here's our PTZ cameras as you look at our Wenatchee Heights camera. I will tell you, yesterday's high 56, normal high 48. You can now make it 8 straight days, with our daily high temperature being above average, not just above average, well above average. 6, 8, 10 degrees above average. So it's been a warm March already. And we are going to cool down, but not that much. The big cool down doesn't happen until the early part of next week. Sunrise has already happened just about a half an hour ago, 6:33, sunset tonight, 5:52. 11 hours, 19 minutes of daylight, 3 minutes and 24 seconds longer than Wednesday was. Camera number 2, up to Billy Goat we go. Clouds up there, and they look pretty high because that camera is over 7,000 feet in elevation, so you just do the math, factor it in, and you got to think that those clouds up in the Omak-Okanagan area are very high indeed. We're going to see actually sunshine for the most part in our viewing area, although a little windy at times. Nanapoc Ridge, good morning to Lake Wenatchee. There you go. Things are looking good. Still a lot of snow on the Kaler Glen side of things. Looks like it's a little breezy up there in Nanapoc Ridge. It's the Nanapoc Ridge, and it's situated geographically that it's just susceptible to wind, which is why you see the trees moving around quite a bit. Hello to Lake Wenatchee. Good to see you there in the White River Valley off in the distance. And Cashmere looks something like this. That's the Stein Hill camera pointed right down at Cashmere. Can't quite make out the golf course or the fairgrounds. Trust me, they're there. You can see that when the big bank of super high clouds, that will dissipate. We are going to see some sunshine today, but it is going to be a tad breezy. Snow in the mountain passes, yep, still. The snow level is going to be right around 4,000 feet. Now, they did have a winter weather advisory. They have canceled that. They've taken that off the table, but you're still going to see some snow. Snoqualmie is going to get some snow. Stevens is going to get the brunt of it. I-90 is going to get enough snow. It could be a little dicey. Stevens is going to get quite a bit of snow. They're right in the bullseye, and they're right at that snow level. And Blewett, not so much. Blewett is going to be protected by the shadow of the mountains, but off and on really through the rest of the day today. And then things will be pretty quiet in the mountain passes. From Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort care and community come together. Going to be a little cooler today. We'll get to 51 after yesterday's high of 56 degrees. Lots of sunshine, but a bit breezy. Wind will be out of the northwest about 10 to 15 miles an hour. We could see gusts above 20 at times today. It's already very windy out in the Columbia Basin. They have a sustained wind right now in Ephrata at 25 miles an hour. Partly sunny tomorrow with a high of 56 as we head into the weekend. Saturday, very mild, 59 for the high, but no sunshine, lots of clouds on Saturday. We'll start seeing a few sun breaks on Sunday, right around 58 for the afternoon high. And then Sunday night, things change big time. Snow level is going to drop all the way down to 1,700 feet in the wee small hours of Sunday night into Monday morning. We're going to get down to 35, which means we have a slight chance of snow in the valley early on Monday morning, because the snow level, when we all get up on Monday morning, well, most of you anyway, the snow level is going to be about 900 feet. Could see some snowflakes on Monday. Could see a little bit of snow on Tuesday night and Wednesday, as the snow level is going to go down, and it's going to stay down as the system rolls in. It's going to cool us down and give us a chance of a little bit of a rain-snow mix. Best chance of measurable snow, at least here in the valley, going to be early Monday morning or late Sunday night, whichever you prefer. After a break, we're going to come back and give you your headlines on this Thursday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
It is partly sunny, I guess, with best we can call it. 41 degrees. We'll be mild again today. Quite a bit of sunshine, a little bit of wind. Things will be pretty quiet and pretty mild. And then the big change happens come the early part of next week. It's 9 minutes after the hour. The killer of a young mother in Moses Lake has entered a plea in her death. 31-year-old Juan Ishmael Gastelum. He pled guilty in Grant County Superior Court to a charge of second-degree murder with sexual motivation. His victim, Yanira Cedios, disappeared in March of 2022 after celebrating her 30th birthday. She was still missing a week later when authorities announced that they had arrested Gastelum, a former boyfriend, in his hometown of Hermiston, Oregon. Cedios' body was found in May of that year in Walla Walla County, and Gastelum was accused of murdering her in her apartment before transporting her to the location where they found her body. He could spend life in prison for the crime. No sentencing date, though, has been set. Fewer people reported living without shelter in Chelan and Douglas counties at this year's point-in-time homelessness count, but fewer people also agreed to be surveyed. In the January survey, a total of 93 people reported sleeping somewhere that is not ordinarily used. for permanent shelter, like out in the outdoors or in a tent or in an abandoned building. That's down from the previous year by almost 11%. Nearly 400 people surveyed stayed in some kind of emergency shelter or transitional housing. That's a 14% decrease from the previous year. However, for the second year in a row, organizers are concerned over the declining number of people responding. Madison Calloway is Chelan County's homeless program supervisor, and she said that this year's pointed time count being held at a new location rather than at the Lighthouse Christian Ministries, which might have led to fewer respondents. Of course, the city of Wenatchee revoked the soup kitchen's conditional use permit in 2025 due to nuisance complaints from local businesses in the neighborhood. Lighthouse, of course, is suing the city of Wenatchee over that permit. The Common Ground Community Housing Trust is accepting applications for its affordable homes on 9th Street in Wenatchee. The Crail Cottages, right next door to Sangster Motors. They're what the organization calls, quote, permanently affordable and developed under its community land trust model. The homes are set for $180,000 for one-bedroom units and $207,000 for two-bedroom units. Eligible applicants must have a household income at or below 120% of the greater Wenatchee area median income. They have to live or work in the greater Wenatchee area, be a first-time home buyer, and be able to obtain a mortgage for the purchase. Applications will be accepted until the end of this month, and a lottery process will likely be used to select the top 8 eligible applicants. Our Valley, Our Future is in its 10th year of helping to guide the growth of the Wenatchee Valley, and that means it's time to begin work on its third 5-year action plan, looking at the economic, social needs, and environmental and wellness in Chelan and Douglas counties. Executive Director Rachel Evie says a public survey in both English and Spanish will help develop the plan, which covers the years 2027 through 2031. You can contribute to that survey by using the QR code that you see there on your screen. More than 20 organizations from Chelan and Douglas counties have signed on as official project partners for the effort. That includes Catholic Charities, the Chelan County PUD, the Chelan Douglas Health District, and Wenatchee Valley College. The Washington State Legislature has passed a bill to ban law enforcement officers from wearing face coverings. It was Senate Bill 5855. It passed the House on Tuesday, 56-37. No Republicans voted in favor of it. 12th District Representative Brian Burnett, a Republican who was the Chelan County Sheriff, said the new legislation, quote, prioritize political messaging over officer safety, end quote. Burnett also said the bill could make it harder to retain and recruit law enforcement. The bill was proposed by Democrats as a response to the use of masks by ICE and other immigration enforcement agencies. In a statement yesterday, Governor Bob Ferguson said he is looking forward to signing the bill once it reaches his desk. The Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center's rotating gallery has a new location for the next couple of years, and it's basically just down the street from the building it's called home for the last, long time. The temporary gallery is set up inside the site of the former Chase Bank at 30 South Mission Street. The museum's collections will be stored at the former Valley Academy building, and other events will be hosted at the Wells House and at Wenatchee Valley College. The relocation is part of the museum's $30 million expansion and renovation project, which will officially begin in mid-May. The temporary gallery will open to the public this Friday to debut the 47th annual Regional Art Show and the Beauty of Bronze Showcase. We had a chance to speak with the executive director of the museum, Mariah Thornock. We went inside the new space to talk about what visitors can expect over the next couple of years.
Figuring out and understanding how to move all of the different departments and activities of the museum has been a multi-year process. We really did start off with a fool's errand of thinking that we were going to find a location where we could move our collection, have a makerspace, have a gallery, have all of our staff, and about a year and a half ago came to the realization that there isn't another place like the museum, that we can have 120,000 items stored in our collection while upstairs there's summer camps going on and next door there's exhibits. There isn't any other place like that in Wenatchee. So we then looked for what are we looking for when it comes to being able to store our collections. It's very different from a space. How are we going to gather people together and have a lecture or have a film series? And then this space was really the last part that we secured, and it was just over the Christmas holiday that we walked in here, and it was one of those like magic fit of big wide open spaces. Our gallery walls will be able to move around. There was a big bank teller desk here, and so we've had to do some work to make it feel less like a bank and more like a museum, and I think over the next couple of months people will see that as we refine the space. But it'll be then our job to point arrows. If they come here, send them on their way up to the college to be a part of a program, or let them know where their kids are going to go to summer camp. And our work the next 2 years is just continuing to let the community know that we're still here. We're just a museum in the community now. One of the reasons why we worked first on relocating our collection is because it is the thing that needs to be prepped the most purposefully. So we've spent the better part of the last year inventorying the collection, wrapping it in acid-free foam, placing it into acid-free boxes. We've been working with the Wenatchee Tech Center out at Old Station to have those students build crates for us. And so our gallery right now is filled with these huge stacks of wood crate sides that snap together, and items will be carefully placed in those crates, closed up, and then transported out. So much different than maybe you'd pack your kitchen up with, where you just dump everything into a regular old box. We've had to take a lot of care with the materials and how things are wrapped and how things are being transported. Behind us here is actually where we're going to locate our maker space. So if you took part in our 3D printing class, we're still going to be able to do that. You're going to do that back here. Or if you took place in the adult beauty of bronze, that's going to be taking place back here. We'll probably do things more frequently with smaller groups because we have just smaller venues that we're working with. But then we're also putting on a lot of tours that are going to go out through the community. I think that there is so many different components to this project, from where we're going to be to the next 2 years, to what our exhibits are, to how the project is being funded. It's being funded in large part by community donations and gifts. What our timeline is for all of this, I would just encourage people to go to our website. On our website, we have some pages that are dedicated to telling the story, and anybody that would like to be involved, either giving their time, helping to package up the museum, to donating to the project, especially if there's a particular exhibit they'd like to see happen, or their talents. If they're deep in history, art, and culture and want to be a part of that, now is a great time to engage with the museum.
Finally, on this Thursday, a hole in the bridge deck has closed a small section of I-90 just east of George. The Washington State Department of Transportation says the hole was noticed Wednesday afternoon in the overpass at exit 154 on Adams Road. That's about 5 miles east of George. Both east and westbound lanes of I-90 were closed. Traffic was diverted around the work zone by the frontage road that runs parallel to the freeway. The DOT says there's no time scheduled for reopening. Just a heads up there. And that is what the heck is going on around here on this Thursday. You can continue to know, or find out anyway, what the heck is going on around here by watching our newscast. We put together a newscast we're quite proud of, and we spit it out there for you at 5 o'clock, and you don't have to make that sound effect. That's just a personal thing. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock for you night owls. The NCAA Life Evening News on our YouTube page at 5 o'clock, on our homepage. Don't forget, if you go to ncaaalife.com and click on the live stream, you can watch whatever we're broadcasting via the internet, which is a pretty cool thing. You got a news tip? Send us an email, news@ncaaalife.com. Quite a bit of sports to get to on this Thursday morning. We will do exactly that in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCAA Life channel.
This March, Lake Chelan welcomes food and wine lovers to an unforgettable experience. Taste Chelan. Chelan Valley's top wineries and restaurants create the perfect pairing of fine wines and culinary delights. With 4 weekends to explore, every visit offers something fresh and exciting. From your first sip to the last bite, every moment is a delicious adventure. But don't wait, tickets are selling fast. Visit tastechelan.com today.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream. with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
21 minutes after the hour, the Seattle Kraken's 5-game winning streak at home came to an end. Last night, they lost to the St. Louis Blues, who aren't very good. They're in 8th place, but they lost to them 3-2 last night. Jaden Schwartz and defenseman Vince Dunn scored for the Kraken. As of this morning, the Kraken have the second wild card spot in the Western Conference, 1 point behind 3rd place Edmonton.
And that's what you're alluding to. And Lane Lambert telling us earlier today, Cass, look, we get off to better starts. We could be in first place in the Pacific Division. Shot from the point, steered aside, rebound, score! 31 seconds in, and Seattle on a rebound.
Well, exactly the start we were talking about. It's just a one face-off by Stevenson back to the point, D to D, and this puck just goes right to net, and Hofer wants this one back. He's trying to kick it out above Jaden Schwartz, but watch the patience by Schwartz. He doesn't come right into the blue paint. He recognizes the rebound's going to come to him. He's got his stick down, and he puts this one past Hofer. Perfect start for Seattle.
Goal coming 31 seconds in from Jaden Schwartz. Snuggerud across the line, over for Robert Thomas. Backhand toward the slot. Loose puck picked up, and a save by Grubauer. Wrap around, score! Logan Mailloux ties the game for the Blues. And the puck rolls out in front of Hofer. He leaves it for Fowler. Odd man rush for the Blues. Shen across the line. Shen. Now it's Fowler holding to Lang. Score! Redirection. The Blues take a 2-1 lead.
The Kraken just played a solid defensive game and got some key contributions. I thought Kako was excellent.
Centering pass, score! Robert Thomas, 3-1 St. Louis. And McCann plays it back for Larson. One-timer and a save, sliding by Hofer toward the post. Boy, Hofer has been sharp. Eberle centers, score!
They were starting to get a consistent forecheck. You can see 2 in on the puck. Eberle comes in to support as that third person, and he just finds Dunn, who slides down into the middle of the slot, just shows patience, wait until his teammates get possession. They get a clear look at him, but look at him just waiting for that moment.
5 seconds in the power play. Dunn leaves it. McCann, one-timer, Montour, saved by Hofer. Stevenson wins the draw, back to the point, nobody home, that will do it. And the St. Louis Blues hang on and get a 3-2 win in Seattle. They have won 3 out of 4.
Seattle is back at Climate Pledge Arena on Saturday night. The Ottawa Senators come to town for the only time this year. They'll drop the puck at 7 o'clock, and you can watch that on Kong TV. The Giants scored 9 runs on just 9 hits because the Mariner bullpen has not been pitching very well, and the Giants cruised to a 9-4 win in Cactus League play last night. Seattle was leading 1-0 in the fourth, but Carlos Vargas gave up base hits to the first three batters he faced. Then he walked the fourth batter he faced, and then he surrendered a grand slam to Jake Holton.
Robbie straddles the rubber. Now winds, deals. That is swung on, stroked into the gap, right center field. It's down. It's going to the wall. Watch Farmelo run. He's to second base. He's around second. He's flying into third. He's there standing. Johnny Farmelo. A flash of Northwest green around the bases. A triple off Robbie Ray.
Gary, you don't see too many stand-up triples in baseball, and this kid can really fly. He can steal you a base.
And he hits a high drive. Right field. Out of here. That's the spot to hit it in this park.
It's a live park to right field. You see a lot of balls leave the arm and hitters get that ball up in the air to right field over by the Charro Lodge. Holton wasn't wasting any time.
That's a grand slam, folks. Hit towards the gap, and it's going to fall. And it'll score one. So Wilson comes in to score.
And that's a mistake with 2 strikes. You know, trying to pitch for.
Seattle falls to 3-8 now in Cactus League play. In fact, they've been outscored so far this spring by 19 runs. But as I already mentioned, most of the regular Seattle starters are playing in the World Baseball Classic this week for their respective countries. Next up for Seattle, they will host their neighbors. All San Diego has to do is walk across the street at the Peoria Sports Complex. That's at 12:05 on Mariners.TV. It was senior night at Heck Evanston Pavilion. Every Husky who played scored. That's pretty good, and when that happens, you usually win. The Dogs dispatched USC 91-72. The regular season for the Huskies wraps up this weekend against the Oregon Ducks. The Big Ten and WCC tournaments are now underway. The Big Ten tournament in women's basketball is in Indianapolis, and today the Huskies will take on Southern Cal at 9 a.m. on the Big Ten Network. And in beautiful Las Vegas, the West Coast Conference tournament begins for the ladies. It's Wazoo and Seattle at noon on ESPN+. All right, here we go. 5 teams still remain alive to take home a trophy in the state basketball playoffs. We'll start out with the girls' state 2B basketball scoreboard and schedule. As you can see, Lake Roosevelt will not be one of them. They are out after they lost yesterday morning to Tudor Lake. The final there was 58-48. Later on today at 15 minutes afternoon in the quarterfinals, Brewster will take on Reardon. In the girls' state 1B basketball scoreboard, Pateras advances. They beat Pell 59-45, but Elmira Cooley Heartline, they're done. Lummi Nation knocked them out 56-48. So in the quarterfinals today, Waterville Mansfield girls will take on Yakima Tribal at 7:15 tonight. The Pateras girls will take on Nia Bay at 5:30 in the quarterfinals. In the boys' state 1A basketball tournament in Yakima, Chelan scored 25 points in the fourth quarter, and they pulled away. A very convincing victory. They beat Cascade Christian yesterday. The final was 60-44. Now the tall task for the Chelan Goats, #1 and undefeated Zilla at 10:30 this morning in the quarterfinals. Keeping with the boys in the 2B basketball scoreboard and schedule, Okanagan advances to the quarterfinals by knocking off Mount Vernon Christian 60-51, but Liberty Bell season came to an end, losing to Adna 49-39. So the Okanagan boys, they're in the quarterfinals. They'll take on Tri-Cities Prep this afternoon at 3:45. And Elmira Cooley Heartline, the boys finally get to play a game in the quarterfinals. They'll take on Columbia Adventist this afternoon at 2 in the 1B basketball championship tournament in Spokane. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Today is National Cheese Doodle Day. I think most of them refer to them as Cheetos. You can get the crunchy Cheetos or the puffy Cheetos. They date back to 1948, and people love to scarf them down. You open up a bag, the bag doesn't stay empty or full very long. About 15 million pounds of cheese doodles are made every year, and keep in mind they don't weigh a lot, so that is a lot of cheese doodles. Strawberry Cheetos are big in Japan. Isn't Cheetos supposed to taste like cheese? Apparently not. They have 50 different flavors of Cheetos. I don't know who was marketing in Cheetos back in the day, but the original, of course, the Cheetos mascot is the cheetah. It was originally a mouse, I guess because of the cheese. deal. Flaming Hot Cheetos was invented by the custodian at the local Fritos factory. Ricardo Montanaz was a janitor at Frito-Lay, and he came up with the idea. I don't know if they paid him a lot of money for it. And a year of production of Cheetos runs you about 11 million gallons of milk. It takes 11 million gallons of milk every year to crank out enough Cheetos for all of us. Thank you very much, Frito-Lay. Today in history, it was John Adams who said this was really the starting point of the American Revolution. It took a little while to get going, but Americans didn't forget, and Great Britain wished they had. The Boston Massacre. On this date in 1775, Americans, including Crispus Attucks, are fatally shot by British troops in an event that would contribute, of course, to the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War 5 years later. This was the one that John Adams said the foundation of the American independence was really on this date, and they did everything they can to make sure that the colonists under the thumb of the king remembered and didn't forget. And they remembered and didn't forget the Boston Massacre 256 years ago today. It's hard to believe that Winston Churchill, one of the most famous people on the history of the planet, visited tiny Fulton, Missouri, Westminster College. He was a private citizen. He was no longer the prime minister, at the invitation of Harry Truman, who, of course, was from Missouri, to deliver a speech about what's going on in the world. This was Winston Churchill's famous speech about, well, basically, you remember the Soviet Union, our allies in World War II? They're not our allies anymore. Here's a little snippet of the famous Iron Curtain speech.
From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent. Behind that line lie all the capitals of the ancient states of Central and Eastern Europe. Warsaw, Berlin, Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Belgrade, Bucharest, and Sofia. All these famous cities and the populations around them lie in what I must call the Soviet sphere. And all are subject, in one form or another, not only to Soviet influence, but to a very high and in some cases increasing measure of control from Moscow.
This speech was not very well received by a lot of people. Most of the Western world, including Great Britain and certainly the United States, they still consider the Soviet Union an ally. I mean, they helped us defeat Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, but things had changed by 1946, and the term the Iron Curtain became the metaphor for essentially the Cold War. Winston Churchill going to Fulton, Missouri. That's like the Pope visiting Chelan. That's how strange that was. This was 80 years ago today. The Major League Baseball Players Association got their act together 60 years ago today when they hired Marvin Miller, who was a union organizer for United Steelworkers. They hired him as the executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association, which was pretty toothless at the time. But Marvin Miller said, people come to see the players, not the owners. Let's change things. And Marvin Miller permanently changed the game of baseball, and really sports labor unions permanently, of course, immediately. Salaries went up, improvements to pension benefits, free agency, which changed everything. Marvin Miller, who's now in the Baseball Hall of Fame and on merit, got the gig that would make him a legend on the state 60 years ago today. Speaking of baseball, this shocked the baseball world. On this date, 1973, two Yankee relief pitchers, they were both lefties, maybe this explains everything, Mike Kekich and Fritz Peterson, announced to the world that the Kekich and Peterson families have swapped. The left-handers announced that they had traded their wives, their children, and the family dogs. As in the case of most trades in baseball, it didn't work out for both sides. Kekich and the former Mrs. Peterson, they were together for just a couple of years and they got divorced. For Peterson and Mrs. Kekich, they're still married. They've been married for like 45 years. They had a couple of kids of their own together. He said, can you imagine this today? Switching families? Well, it was pretty shocking too, back in 1973. And I think we all know the old Rodney Dangerfield joke. I went to a boxing match the other day and a hockey game broke out. This may have been the NHL fight to end all fights. This was on this date 22 years ago today in Philadelphia. At the end of the game, there's less than 2 minutes remaining, And the fights started. There's the first fight. That probably could have ended it all. Again, this is Philadelphia and Ottawa doing battle in Philadelphia. So he's a little bloody. He's off. And then the second fight breaks out before they could drop the puck again. And now things really started getting cattywampus. This is why I did this in fast forward. At one point, there are 5 different fights. Those are the 2 goalies going at each other. The goalie for Ottawa skated down to the other end of the rink and took on the goalie from Philadelphia. There's 5 different fights going on right now. That's a lot of fights. They finally got everything settled, and then they would drop the puck. And again, this is less than 2 minutes to play, by the way. They drop the puck, and here we go again. They got about 2 seconds of hockey in, and then it's time to do some more fighting. Only this time, there's only like 3 fights going on simultaneously. They're just, and this isn't kid stuff. This is the playground. They're wailing on each other. They got everybody off the ice. They drop the puck, and here we go again. And we're fighting, and we're fighting. So they've had 10 minutes of fights and about 2 minutes worth of hockey. Then they finally got some hockey in, and with about a minute left, we'll go ahead and do some more fighting. I mean, why not? What the heck? When it was all said and done, and all of this happened with less than 2 minutes remaining in the game, it's already in hand. Philadelphia is going to beat Ottawa. 19 players. Oh, here we go. One more fight. Yeah, drop the puck, and here we go. 19 players were ejected for fighting. Both teams were down to their last 6 players. And if you follow hockey, you know there's 6 players on the ice. New rules were implemented. Needless to say, anybody who instigates a fight with fewer than 2 minutes to go were automatically given a 1-game suspension. And the coach would be fined as well. 19 players ejected in 2 minutes, the last 2 minutes of the game, which took about 15 minutes to play. Birthdays. You might remember Del Crandall if you were a Mariner fan. He was the manager of the Mariners in '83 and '84. Did the best he could. He was considered a good manager and a great baseball guy. He just had the Mariners in '83 and '84, didn't have any talent, but we liked and respected Del Crandall. He was also the very last player to have played for the Boston Braves before they moved till Milwaukee. Del Crandall, born in the state in 1930. And Penn Jillette, he's the one who talks and juggles and does the magician stuff, and acts and tells jokes. He's funny. Penn Jillette is 71. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are a platinum sponsor. Mike Minotti has a little commentary about Facebook, or as I like to call it, in your Facebook. And then our own Jenni Rodas had a chance to sit down with Ryan Rodruck of the Department of Natural Resources to talk about their concerns with this year's snowpack, which ain't much. That's coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the STV channel.
So this is Goalie. Goalie is 2 years old, so he is still fairly young. He is an extremely affectionate boy, as you can see. He takes handling very, very well. Whether you're holding him, needing to adjust him, he'll even let you take his paw. Basically, as long as you're touching him, he's in his happy place. And we learned earlier that even if you try to play with him, he doesn't care. He wants you. He doesn't want to be played with or anything like that. He just wants lots of touches and loves and rubs. Goalie has one little health condition, so he has little growths in his ears, and because of that, he is deaf. So if you try to call him or any of that, he's not going to pick it up. But if he sees you in his eye line, he goes for it. So his recall, despite him being deaf, is still really, really high. Really good. He seems to be a really easygoing guy. He has been with other cats before, so he can integrate pretty well. We don't have any info on him with dogs at this time, but I'm sure if you took it very slow and easy, Goalie is much more of a lover than a fighter, so I'm sure he will acclimate really well. He'd be a great as a family cat. We also learned while he's in shelter that he loves children and he loves to be loved by them. He doesn't mind them picking him up and touching him and handling him. As I said before, he really just wants people. He wants a companion, if not companions, so that way everybody can have a turn. And he just wants to love you and get some love in return. He could probably be an indoor-outdoor cat. He does still have all of his claws and teeth and such, but honestly, he's probably going to be a couch surfer. He likes places of comfort and warmth, so he's going to seek out a nice area on your couch that gets sunlight, and he'll wait there for you until you come home to him. He's probably about like 10 to 12 pounds. He's an adult male, so that's kind of typical for his size. So we are now open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. We are open 12:30 to 6 p.m. So come on down to the shelter and meet Gully. He would absolutely love to meet you and have you pet him. Or you can check out Gully's profile on our website, WenatcheeHumane.org.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at WenatcheeHumane.org. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
You build more than projects. You build what communities rely on. When the job site runs on results, put Kubota to work. Backed by expert service and support from your local Kubota dealer. Right now, bring home select Kubota KX Series with 0% financing available or save up to $4,800.
Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. So, Facebook isn't going to fact check anymore. Well, so what? Since when are we expected to be able to accept and believe everything we see or read on a social media site? And why would you expect Marky Zuckerberg, of all people, to accurately check facts for you anyway? I mean, Meta, for whom Markey is the chief executive, donated $1 million to Donald Trump's inaugural fund. Oh, fact-checking? Yeah, okay. And we all know what a truth teller our president is. And facts, since when do they matter? Different polls give different stats, but a very significant number of people in this country still believe the big lie that DJT won the 2020 election. Facebook isn't fact-checking anymore? Who cares? It's just Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Whether you're a new homeowner
or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
It's Jenni Rodas with NCW Life. As we approach spring, agencies in Washington are preparing for wildfire season. Today we are joined by Ryan Rodruck with Washington State Department of Natural Resources to discuss how they're preparing for wildfire season. Hi Ryan, how are you?
Jenny, thanks for having me.
Of course. So before we start with the list of questions, can you clarify what DNR's role is in wildfire response compared to local fire departments?
So DNR is our statewide lead firefighting agency, and we address the fires that happen on state lands and within DNR's jurisdiction and area of protection. So our state forest, our state trust lands, and anywhere that's under DNR's fire protection, those are the areas we service. But we also work in tandem with our local fire districts. And when we use the term first responders, that's really who we're talking about, is those local firefighters, those local fire districts. They are typically first on the scene during what we call the initial attack phase of a wildfire. And really our fire district partners, they're the ones that start with that heavy lift. And we will come assist them on mutual aid to provide those heavy resources that not every fire district has. But we work very, very closely with those fire district partners to ensure that our neighborhoods are safe.
Yeah, perfect. I know it's very early during the year, but I wanted to discuss about this dry winter that we've kind of been experiencing. Obviously, as we speak right now, it's kind of snowing outside. So it looks like snow was just kind of late to fall this year. But, you know, if there's anything that you can talk about with snowpack and how that can potentially affect the upcoming wildfire season, I would like to know what you know.
Well, the good news is I just came from the top of Blewett Pass and it was snowing pretty heavily. So that'll be our silver lining. Unfortunately, as you said, we are in an extremely dry winter. There's a metric that we use a lot called the snow water equivalent, which is just like it sounds. It's the amount of snow that turns into the requisite amount of water. And that's very, very low. The only place it's really normal right now is up in the national park, up in the North Cascades. Most other sites that measure that snow water equivalent are below the 50th percentile. Some portions of the South Cascades are in the 20th percentile to the teens. So the snowpack is very, very low. We do have a lot of winter left though. We've got all of February, most of March, and hopefully maybe even into April to see some more precipitation. As far as that precipitation falling as snow, we don't know yet if that's going to be enough to get us to normal, but those metrics are running low enough that we would need some pretty significant snow events to make those sites starting to read as normal.
Yeah. So even with that uncertainty with the snowpack and precipitation, what preparations are already underway for wildfire season?
Well, the good news is that DNR is prepared to address those fires that happen on our jurisdiction. We stagger our resources throughout the state of Washington, throughout central Washington. So all of those engine companies, the aircraft you see during fire season, those are staged and ready to go in those geographic zones that are more prone to fire. So our Chelan unit covers Chelan and Douglas County with engines, personnels, and hand crews. Work centers there in Leavenworth as well. And then it's important to note that all of central Washington is dispatched right here out of Wenatchee. Our dispatch center is over in East Wenatchee at Pangbourne Airport. So any of those resources that you see dispatched anywhere to fires in central Washington, those are getting dispatched directly out of Wenatchee. We also stagger aircraft around the region. So you'll see our aircraft staged obviously up at Pangbourne. There are aircraft that are staged down in Yakima as well. And we also frequently use Moses Lake for those heavy air tankers for the big red fire retardant that you see on the hillsides.
So I know you mentioned that there are a few metrics that you've been following, but are there any others that you're watching over the next month that will influence how aggressively you prepare?
What we'll need to see is what those precipitation events look like in the spring. Mostly how much of that rainfall that we get in those spring rains and how those fire fuels hang on to that moisture. That'll really give us a better determination on when fire season is going to start, potentially its severity, and then how long it's going to last for. And it's all really a matter of what those what happens with that snowpack, what those spring rains do, and how much moisture those fuels are able to hold on to long term. That'll give us a better idea as to, what fire season we can expect and when we can expect it to start.
So for some people who might not know, how does the snowpack affect a wildfire season?
So it's just one of the things that can affect wildfire season. Again, we'll want to see what those spring rains do. But snowpack, the more snow we get in the mountains, obviously, the more moisture that those fuels up in the mountains can hold on to. And the more moisture is then able to present itself downstream as runoff and feed the fuels downstream. So that's one metric in addition to that spring rainfall we'll be looking at. And then again, what that fuel composition looks like, just how dry the sagebrush gets and how fast it gets to that point.
Yeah. Can you share with us what previous years have looked like around this time, if you happen to know that information?
So around this time, obviously, we would expect to see significantly more snowpack. Precipitation, the forecast right now is for about a normal precipitation. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that as we get into spring, but I would say this is definitely looking like a very low snowpack year if we continue down the path of not seeing those big heavy snow events into the rest of February and potentially March.
Yeah. Talking more about Central Washington, I know that the whole state suffered flooding in December, but a lot of the snowpack that we had melted during that time. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about how that kind of affects on top of the dry winter that we're already experiencing?
It did wash off a lot of that snowpack. Again, unfortunately, we're in a position where that flooding, there really wasn't much snowpack to wash off to begin with. It did wash off some of that. Most of that catastrophic flooding that we saw on the west side as a result was a result of those Pineapple Express type events coming up from the Pacific Ocean. So that primarily fell as a major rain event instead of a major snow event. What we really need to see is more of those snow events in the mountain, again, getting into February and March.
Yeah, so I'm pretty clear about how much DNR cares about preventiveness and being prepared for wildfire season. So what should residents in North Central Washington be doing now, regardless of how the rest of winter plays out?
Regardless of how it plays out, now is definitely the time to prepare. Start thinking about having a plan for your home and property. It's really important both for us as the folks that are going to respond to that wildfire, but also for the safety of your community to make sure that you're hardening your home if you live in one of those high wildfire impact zones or live on the wildland urban interface. I like to say if you can go out for a walk around your neighborhood and touch sagebrush, there's a good chance that you live on that wildland urban interface. So it's really the simple things in hardening your home that are going to make the biggest difference. So, make sure your wood pile isn't stored under your deck. Go around now and get some of those pine needles cleared out from your eaves. If you don't have soffit protectors on your roof, on your eaves, get soffit protectors. And then within 0 to 5 feet of your home, make sure there's nothing flammable that's touching that home. That includes overhanging branches, again, pine needles that could potentially be on your roof. And then from that 0 to 30 feet, again, make sure that there's not a lot of flammable materials that's in between that 30-foot buffer zone and your home. Not only does this harden your home if that flame front were to move through, but also it allows crews to get in there and do much quicker structure protection work should the need arise. The less work that we have to do to secure your home before that flame front moves through, the better chance your home and property will weather that flame front.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So when will the public know what to expect with the wildfire season?
So we're not quite in that crystal ball territory yet when it comes to fire season, but we're getting close. We'll be keeping an eye on what those spring rains do. We'll be keeping an eye to see if we get more precipitation events that fall as snow. And then what we'll be looking at is how long are the fuels on the ground going to hold on to that moisture. And so once we get through those spring events and get a better handle on how things are going to dry out, we'll be able to make some better predictions as to what kind of fire season that we can expect.
Okay, perfect. Those are all the questions I had for you. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Nope, we got it.
No?
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life Channel.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
.39 degrees with some high clouds out there. We'll see quite a bit of sunshine today. The only real weather thing for this Thursday, it's going to be a little breezy. It's already quite windy out in the Columbia Basin. Right now in the mountain passes, things aren't too bad, but it could get a little dicey, especially on Stevens Pass. I just checked the passes here about 60 seconds ago. It's snowing lightly on Stevens Pass, traction tire advisory, but I can see a lot of pavement with the cameras at the summit of Stevens. It's beautiful up Blewett right now, no problems at all, and it's raining on I-90. That's about the last thing they need, but the snow level is going to hover right around 4,000 feet for the next couple of days. So this is about the only real snow event for the mountain passes. But the snow level is going to go all the way down to the valley floor on Sunday night into Monday. From the National Weather Service, again, sunshine for the most part today. The longer days are definitely quite pleasant with a high of 51, but it's going to be breezy today. Clouds are back tonight, 37 for the overnight low. It'll be kind of 50% sun, 50% clouds on Friday. We'll top off at 56. All of those afternoon high temperatures all the way through Sunday are well above normal. Very mild on Saturday, but no sunshine. We'll be near 60 for the afternoon high. That means the overnight low on Saturday night into Sunday is going to be very mild. Sunday, as we kick in daylight saving time, partly sunny and a high of 58, and then here comes a pretty robust system. When we get up Monday morning, the snow level is going to be right about 900 feet, so we could get some light snow Monday morning. We'll see you tomorrow.